Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Trinity Competitive Racing, round 13 of the Golden Class, in Season 13. We have 12 cars out on the track here for the Canadian Grand Prix, and it's set to be a good one. Going to be good weather throughout. Going to be keep an eye on them track limits as well throughout. And we're here just to start off qualifying, and I'm joined. My name's Sir Charles. I'm joined alongside in the virtual commentary booth by the commish, Seafreeze. Seafreeze, how you doing this evening?
Yo, welcome to Gold. Yeah, I'm doing great, and it was really good last night. Thought I'd come back again in the booth to finish this season off. The only class, well, technically, I guess Platinum is still up for grabs, although it's coming down to the wire anyway. But as far as the championship, so this is some tight stuff here for the driver standings. So this is a crucial round for who is going to be the decider.
Yeah, certainly. I'm just riding on board for Williams there, and he invalidated on a wall of champion chicane there. I will throw out that silver class, when I won a driver championship, was decided a long time ago. The constructors is very tight heading into the last round, but yeah, you watched the silver class last night. Is there anything?
Was there.
Yeah, you were. Did a pretty good job in the commentary booth. It was a good broadcast as always. What can you take from that race that you might apply to this race?
I do think the penalties are going to be a big issue. I knew it was going to be bad, but I mean, we saw drivers get 3-second time penalties like very early in the race, like within the first 5 laps.
Yeah.
Some as early as lap 2. So that's not what you want, and it's going to definitely hurt your race. So I think for the contenders, which we'll get here in a minute, we'll go through the standings. Those drivers need to stay clean. You never know if a safety car at the end will shake things up, and you don't want to carry any penalties going into that final restart.
Yeah, definitely. The late safety cars can definitely throw a wrench into things. And I will say, as someone who was driving last night, I can tell you that tires are a premium. I think it's one of those things. In a lot of races, you maybe take track position over tires, but I think if you get a safety car, if you have just a few laps on your tires, it might be wise just to come in and get some fresh rubber to the end. As TJ, who is second place in driver standings, sets a solid lap. He won 109.6. Expect the pole time to probably be. We might dip into the 108s tonight. It'll be interesting to see. I didn't exactly get to see how fast the track was last night, since last night's race was in the rain. As TJ gets out of the way for one of the Haas's. And speaking of the standings, you mentioned the T-Freeze. We'll go through those right now. We have the championship is still up for grabs. Warriors, who got off to a fast start in the season, and kind of slumped in the middle, but it's come back strong as of late, sitting on 145 points. TJ, who we're on board with right now, is 20 points back in second. Got Any Weeb, who is currently on a lap. He might be actually on an end lap. I think he just finished his lap. He's in third, just 25 points back, still within a race distance. Instead of 2 races to go, or anything can happen. He's been Mr. Consistency all year. TJ started off slow and got hot recently, but he hasn't had a rough last couple rounds. Fire Up Flo, or D'Angelo, 113. He is 32 points back. Still in it, but he's going to need some help in order to get back into this championship. And then it's Fire Up Flo on the other Ferrari, 87 points in 5th. Little Charles on 77 points. He's unfortunately not with us tonight. In Math, also not with us, on 60 points. And Rockstar on 49 points. He's currently sitting P2. He's a guy who, I mention this every time, and it's probably because, he hasn't won every time I've raced, but one of those guys, he's had a lot of close calls to getting his first TCR win, but just hasn't quite worked out for him. And then it's DeGabri, and it's Chiaro Den DeGabri and Nico John. Those are your top 11. Won't go any further than that. We also have a relatively tight race in the constructors as well. McLaren So on top of that with 238 points, and Ferrari with 207, 31 points back. Again, constructors, 44 points available for the constructors. That's certainly still up in the air, but if as strong as both McLarens have looked recently, it's going to be a tall mountain to climb for Ferrari. Williams in third, 187. Haas, 79. Aston Martin on 78. So a pretty close battle there for P4. And then it's Alfa Romeo, Alpine, Red Bull, Mercedes, and AlphaTauri. Currently sitting on a goose egg in the constructors' standings. They've had a bit of driver turnover, and none of the full-time drivers for AlphaTauri are here tonight. So that goose egg will carry over into the final round at Coda. Ford, who we're on board with here, he's actually a reserve driver. This is only his second Golden Class start. He's a full-time silver driver. Unfortunately, he did not race last night. He had other conflicts. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table here tonight, because we really don't know how he is around this track. Was talking for a long time there. Jim, did I miss anything, Seafreeze?
No, I think you got it all, and I think the big thing here to note, if you're a Warriors fan, he just needs to do a solid race, because he does have that 20-point lead over TJ in second, so he doesn't need to win the race, although winning would definitely help his odds heading into the finale at Coda. Yeah, he could clinch it. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He could clinch it tonight with the win, and TJ in second would do it. So
D'Angelo goes P1, just barely ahead of his teammate TJ by
now. If you're for Gottini, Weber, D'Angelo, they're a little far back. They got to go all out for it.
Yeah.
Even TJ, I mean, they have to come into this race needing a win. Maybe put a little bit more pressure on Warriors throughout the race. Maybe make him get into a mistake, and maybe that'll open something out for an opportunity for the championship. But to still have 4 drivers in contention at this stage of the season is pretty nice.
Yeah, certainly. It's nice to have that. You hate when you see championships wrapped up, well beforehand. Although, that obviously comes with motorsports. Someone's just got to tip your cap. But yeah, if you're any of those 3 guys behind Warriors, you're in a situation where you got to go for it. So on board with Fire Up Slow. He's getting ready to set his first lap. But yeah, those guys, the pressure's kind of off for them as Fire Up Slow goes. The top 3 separated by 4 1/1000ths of a second right at the moment. But anyway,
TJ's on a flyer of a lap, 6/10 up on his time. Might be able to get into the 108s if you could keep it clean. And the final chicane.
He does.
He does.
Looks like he got through there pretty well, but there's so much time to be gained and lost through that final chicane. He actually stayed about even, almost going into the 108s. Said we might do that. I think that pretty much bodes well, saying that we will. Let's see if anyone else is on a flyer. So that looks like Omega's coming to the line. Actually, no, he's on 2-lap old medium, so I'm not sure what he's doing at the moment. Probably not going to set any laps at the moment on those tires.
We also have Warriors on the mediums with 6 minutes left, still with no lap time on the board. I wonder if he'll try to do the alternate strategy that'll put him back in traffic. And
but if only 12 guys,
that is also true.
I will say, you mentioned mistakes. Mistakes could be punished even more with only 12 guys, because that's obviously the lesser cars. Having to race the Warriors pulls into the pits.
Yeah.
Probably invalidated the lap. He's going to have to put it all on his final qualifying run, which, except track limits the way they are around Canada, that's a lot of pressure for one flyer. You usually want to have a decent banker in before you throw everything at the last lap. So what's for you? What's the trickiest part about this track in terms of just driving it?
I would say not hitting any walls. I mean, every chicane, Canada's all chicanes, but every chicane points your car towards a wall. And if you get it wrong, you're going to have to either lift or try to keep it in there, but you're approaching a wall, and the wall comes to you relatively quick. With dirty air, you know, with drivers in front, loss of the grip, like you mentioned, the tires, maybe them going away a little bit. But more particularly the final corner of the World Champions, very easy to invalidate, very easy to clip the wall and just get it all wrong. You lose all the momentum, and that's on the straightaway that, you know, it's one of the biggest opportunities for an overtake up into turn one. So if you get that wrong, you're not doing any favors for yourself.
And Santiago just hit the outside wall into the left-right chicane before the hairpin, or right-left chicane, I should say. And that's also a spot that, you know, can get you if you're not paying attention. D'Angelo is currently on your lap. But yeah, that especially in qualifying, the wall champion chicane, it's just one. Oh, D'Angelo! That's gonna have to abort that lap. He did a good job to keep it out of the wall there, but there's so much time to be gained and lost through that last chicane. It's just it's frustrating and tedious and everything all at once. From the driver's perspective, so I'd have to go with that as the trickiest part of the track. Is gotten lead is on a flyer as we speak. We're on board with him. Currently sitting P4, but almost a full second off of TJ. Had a little bit of a moment for that chicane, but he held it together quite nicely. 4/10 up on his time. A little bit of a lock up into the hairpin, but nothing too serious. If he holds this lap, he could go P2, at least for the moment. Like there's so much time to be gained and lost right here. He nailed that. Just clipped the wall on the exit, but I don't think that really broke his momentum any. And yeah, went up 2/10, gained two more tenths on that last there. Nico John disqualified, and you see what he was trying to do there. He probably had a couple cars coming through, and he just decided to stop and wait for everyone, I guess, to come through. And you know, if you stop on the exit, exit of pit road, even if you're in the white lines, the game likes to disqualify you. We saw that at Australia a couple times last week. And it's yeah, that's unfortunate for him.
That is really unfortunate. He was actually trying to do everyone a favor. His car was still slightly rolling, but yeah, that was quite harsh to just give him the DQ.
You see that at Australia a lot. You know, the way that thing takes you guys. Warrian, there's the lap. Missed that, unfortunately, but he goes P2. Just ahead of Got Any Weeb. But still 3/10 off of TJ, so TJ, probably feeling pretty good about himself. If everyone else kind of into pits, that might be it for challengers here. We gotta wonder maybe if there's some rain coming. I mean, usually guys wait to the last second to do their laps, but it doesn't look like there's going to be anyone else who's going to be getting their laps in at the moment. Twisted Jack's on the lap right now, but I don't expect him to challenge for pole. He's down in P8. Get a sector 2 split here. He's actually 2.5 tenths slower on his lap. Ford.
Yeah, about to start his, so he's doing a little protection.
Ford coming through the Sebastian Vettel quarter of nightmares here. Right there's where Vettel blew it in 2011 when he was racing Jenson Button. Jenson had that legendary comeback where he did the 6 stop to win it, including taking out 2 world champions in the process. But, you know, you do what you gotta do to win sometimes. Not saying that's what you should do. Not saying it was on purpose. But it was obviously one of the all-time great F1 races. Ford did not get a sector 2 split here, but we'll see what he comes by. Again, I really wouldn't expect him to challenge for pole, but he does have a lot of speed here. Let's see what he can do. He gets through the chicane a little wide on the exit, probably lost a little bit of momentum there. I think he's going to improve quite nicely on this lap. To the line, only marginal improvement. He'll stay P7. Santiago coming to the line. Will he improve? He does by 4/10, jumps ahead of Ford. TJ into the 108.
There it is.
Don't see anyone else.
Rockstar's on a lap now. I just don't know if he's got a second in him. He's quite quick. I just don't know if he could put it all together. He was about a tenth or so up on the first sector.
4/10 up. It's still definitely not a second, but yeah, actually he needs to really have a good last sector to even jump up one spot here. You can still get D'Angelo and fire up Flo. I don't think he'll be able to get anything else unless he really...
He just has to go.
Yeah, he has to send it right here. That is exactly what he did.
Yeah.
We'll see how this gets him. P3.
Really nice.
That was yeah, he clutched that last sector. Almost got P2. So, 2 through 4 very close.
He's splitting the two, the 4 contenders. He's right in the middle, and he hasn't gotten himself a win yet this season, so...
Forever in TCR. I'm sure he loves it every time I bring that up.
Has he not won in silver?
Nope, he came very close several times last year. It's hard to believe, say, with everyone who won last year in silver, it's hard to believe he was kind of the odd man out, because he definitely should have won several races, but he's kind of like how Ganani Weeb was early in the season, long overdue for a win in TCR.
Absolutely.
Ganani Weeb.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of winners last season, and you know what? I'm gonna make him my pick here tonight. He's my dark horse.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess we'll roll into that. We have the qualifying lineup here. Nothing's going to change. So what are your picks here, I guess, for top 3? By the way, this is what we do usually before the race. Usually save it for formation lap, but we'll go ahead and get started right now. I'll put your top 3 predictions below.
A little premature on my half. I do apologize.
That's fine. That's fine. But yeah,
since you're insisting, I'll go with the top 3. I want to see Rockstar get his first win. That's why I came here, to see him. And there's really no Canadians besides Twisted Jack and Vince, so it doesn't look like we're really going to get a Canadian homegrown winner. There's a lot of Americans up front, but I'll put Rockstar in P1. I think, you know what? I think Got Any Weeb is really clean. I think he's going to stay almost penalty free. I like him for P2 to put himself back into the fight of the championship. And I like Fire Up Flow for 3rd. I really just think those guys are clean on the penalties, and I think that is what will win you the race, staying clean. Quick shout out on the YouTube side of things. Shaq, my guy coming back from last night. He asks what our personal bests are around this track. I don't know. I'll find out tomorrow. I don't know if you know what you did. Or...
Well, we had our qualifying in the rain. I don't think we ever had a dry set on. Someone had to ready up right off the bat. Anyway, don't want to do that. But yeah, I've gotten into the 108s on time trial, but I can't get really anywhere close in a real qualifying session to 108s. I'd probably low 109. Sound like I said, we didn't really think to have that experiment last night. Yeah, I'm sure you guys in the platinum class will be 108 lows, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
But how about your picks, Sir Charles? What are we thinking for the top 3?
What are we thinking? Well, I'm going to go with... I think TJ's going to pull out his clutch gene here. He's going to put the pressure on Warrians. I'm going to say he's going to win from the pole. And I'm going to go... Yeah, I got to agree. If you've got any Weeb, both Ferraris are very clean, usually. I'm going to go got any Weeb, go P2. Especially if there's a late safety car, that's going to work right into his favor. He's Mr. Consistency. And I think everyone had a lot of guys make mistakes, and I think that Warrians will be playing it safe. And I think he'll be P3. So we go TJ, Got Any, and Warrians for top 3. I think Warrians will bring it home for a solid finish. Don't really see him getting after it a whole much.
Yeah, how many wins? Warrians has, let's see how many
he had
wins
a bunch at the beginning of the year.
No, he's got 3 wins on the table. TJ's actually got the same amount with 3. But Warrian's a little bit more consistent. Warrian's also missed 1 race, and he has 2 DNFs, so that's 3 races with no points to his name.
The Warriors hit a bit of a slump there in the middle of the season, if I remember correctly, but really.
And got any weave with 1 win, D'Angelo with 2, Fire Up Flow with none. That was the top 5. And remember, last race, TJ didn't get past the first few laps. He had himself a DNF. Got Any Weave was a lap down. After it all, Warriors had a really strong race with a P2. D'Angelo as well made some mistakes, so coming into that, they're definitely remembering what happened last week when they're going to do this one here.
Mr. Joshua was the other winner of the season Golden Class, not here with us tonight, but a quick shout out. One in Singapore, but drivers are lining up on the grids here. 12 drivers for the Golden Class. We'll go on board here. Despicable Angelo. We get a good view here of the top 4 here. See how they make their way into the first turn here. The lights are out. Poor start by D'Angelo. Got Any Weave got a good launch off the line, but he's got nowhere to go with it. TJ got a pretty good start as well. Rockstar and Warrior side by side. Looks like Rockstar might get the spot here. See, it depends on how the traction gets out of the turn. D'Angelo somehow managed to keep P5 despite a poor launch. Rockstar concedes the spot to Warriors there, so he'll settle into P3. Fire Up Flow in P6. Looks like everyone else is able to funnel through fairly cleanly. Twisted Jack a little bit off the back. Was there any incidents that you saw on your end there?
No incidents, but Twisted Jack did go wide in turn 2. Looked like all by himself. He did end up in the grass, but no damage.
Yeah. Also worth maybe keeping an eye during this race on Nico John. He's had speed at a couple races this season. I think he had a podium well early in the season. Started dead last after that unfortunate disqualification. I don't expect him to finish there, as D'Angelo is really close to Got Any Weave. He backs off to ERS. I think it's smart to save that here. Through the wall championship chicane for the first time. Oh, and D'Angelo, a little bit of a tank slapper there on exit. Fire Up Flow now has got to run. He's going to be looking. I think he'll back out of it, and he does. Rockstar, Got Any Weave on Rockstar. Rockstar trying to defend, a little bit of contact there. More contact. I think I got Rockstar a little sideways there on exit. Got Any Weave should have the position as they head into the first chicane here. And he does. D'Angelo into the back of Rockstar just a little bit. I don't think there is any damage done there. And Rockstar now under attack. D'Angelo, I wonder, does Rockstar have damage maybe?
I don't know, but he's getting definitely overtaken. Got Any Weave, and now D'Angelo, but looks like Rockstar just slightly ahead. And this is bunching up Fire Up Flow behind, and
we got a whole gaggle of cars here. Fire Up Flow looking for maybe a possible movement to the hairpin. Thinks better of it. But yeah, Rockstar, he was in P3 pretty comfortable. Just got a bad run on the wall championship chicane. I was wondering maybe he clipped the wall there. Because, I mean, as soon as he got out of there, Got Any Weave got around him, and D'Angelo, and now D'Angelo looks like he's going to make the move on Rockstar into the chicane. Rockstar challenging him still. Ooh, he backs out at the last second there. I'm a little bit worried there.
Just be the setup, maybe the way he's not pushing this early on. He's just trying to get back into the rhythm. We're only 3 laps in now.
Yeah, that is true. Sometimes, you have, kind of them, I guess, time trial-esque setups, and sometimes they're just not good with a full fuel load, and it can take a little bit of a while for it to warm up, but he's already lost D'Angelo. I'd say he maybe has a light green wing or something like that. I mean, we got a car around. That's Omega, I believe, or was it Ford? Santiago, yep. I saw some wings flying as well, so I'm not sure if any of these guys have damage or not. I'm talking about, Vince down through Ford and Nico John there in P10. There's a bit of a stack up there. I think they got through there cleanly. No visible damage, at least, on any of these cars from what I can tell.
And up front, TJ and Warrior still within that second. And we have a spin as D'Angelo into the wall, out of the wall of champions.
Oh, he did get, I missed that. I was on focus on Omega getting past his teammate there. That's gonna. And D'Angelo had a good start, but that's the worst place you want to have a spin, because he has to go all the way around. And
this is where I think those flashing yield flashlights on the back of the car would really come in handy, because some of these cars don't know. Yeah, the hazards. Thank you.
Yeah, you mentioned. I agree with that. I feel like especially if you have just a little bit of damage, you need to let everyone behind you know that you're braking early. Give me flashbacks.
We might even see it now if, like, Santiago, if he gets up to D'Angelo relatively soon. I don't think he will, maybe, but yeah, he would have no idea why D'Angelo is in 10th and going that slow, because he can't see the front of the car. So it could be a tricky situation. Usually in real life, you do have some yellow flags. Your engineers would tell you, but he has no collection there. As Fire Up getting Rockstar for 4th.
Rockstar continues to kind of drop like a stone. He uses all his ERS too, so I think he's got a little bit of wing damage. Like I said, it could be a setup thing. Sometimes your car does tend to work better under. He has a lighter fuel load, but it just seems like. And Ford, I think, did pick up wing damage in that scuffle when Santiago spun. He looks like he did pit. That's why he's farther behind everyone else. So I thought I saw something flying there. Turns out I think I was right. Up front, Warrians keeping within the DRS range of TJ. Got any weed just outside of that. He's going to have to really yeet it through the chicane. He does, but Warrians made a bit of a mistake there. Probably picked up a warning in the process, so that works out for Got any weed. And Ford.
I think Warriors might have picked some damage up, because he did hit a few walls while I'm on board with him. I wonder if he pits here.
I mean, he did just miss that last chicane before the hairpin completed, and I think that's why he dropped back almost half a second there. But
it's good for the moment, but when I was on board, he was getting very close to those walls, and quite a few of them.
As mentioned, Ford, the first victim of track limits tonight, and he certainly won't be the there you go. Certainly won't be the last, and maybe there was something to that, because Warriors now is kind of struggling. He just picked up another warning for what it's worth, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Warriors definitely seems to be struggling a bit. This is where you really need to recompose yourself. If you're Warriors, this field is spread out. It's obviously, gives it a bit of a green flag look. One of your championship rivals, I mean, not your nearest one, has already kind of fallen by the wayside. Maybe just take a deep breath. Try and recompose yourself if you can. It does seem to look like you might be struggling with a little bit of understeer.
The car does not look great, I tell you that much. And something's definitely happened from the last lap to this lap, because he's getting past.
I think he's going into pits right here. No. Which how much he just didn't use any ERS and just kind of put the white flag, if you will. I thought he was just going to dive into the pits, which, I mean, pit window, you usually pit, 8, 9, 10. You can stretch yourself a little farther than that if you want to, but this isn't super early to pit. There you go.
Another one by Warriors. 6 seconds already.
And I've seen this before, it seems like when things don't go his way, they tend to snowball really quickly. I've seen that in a few of the Golden Class races I've commentated on this season. So hopefully, like I say, he's got a bit of a gap back to Fire Up flow now. Hopefully he can kind of settle down and recompose himself. So there really aren't any close battles on track. And Warriors is the only driver within DRS range of anybody. So continue to press the wrong button.
And I tell you what, when you see one of your rivals, especially a championship rival, get a penalty early on in the race, not only one but 2 penalties, TJ ain't got any weed. They might just take it down a notch, because they now know they have a 6-second gap if they could stay penalty free. So that's a great sign. A little bit of momentum towards TJ and Godani, who look quite evenly matched at this stage of the Grand Prix.
Yeah, we'll say I think TJ might be doing exactly that, because he had about you know, over a second lead on these guys. Got any lead, was able to catch him pretty quickly, so he might just be doing just that, saying, hey, you know, you can afford to tone it down a notch. Of course, any of these guys, you know, the 7-point difference between first and second, and, you know, if you've got any lead in St. TJ, you gotta think, hey, this is your championship on the line here, as Warriors misses the chicane again. He needs to pit. That's just my observation. Get the wing change, get some fresh tires, get some fuel goods on it. Ooh, so you almost lose it on that chicane there. He's already burned through his DRS too. He's outside of DRS range. You might as well pit it this time. You're just going to hurt yourself more if you stay out. And he finally does come into the pits.
At least he did not speed in the pit lane. We got a lot of those last week in silver class at Australia. Like a lot of them. And also golden. Remember I did do last week. I think got any weep, he might have got 2 or 3 speeding in the pit lanes.
Fits on the medium tires. A lot of times, you know, you could go for us 40, it's another 3-second time penalty, so only 2 drivers with time penalties, but each have 2 of them. I will say that D'Angelo's hit the fastest lap. I will say that you know, the strategy here, you know, you can it's usually a 2-stopper, but you can stretch to 1-stopper if you want to. Albeit, like you said, the medium tires will be very unhappy at the end. Usually you're looking at like a soft, medium, or a soft, medium, soft, depending on how the safety cars fall. Like I said, this race, I mean, I'm probably jinxing it, but you just look at the gaps between everybody. We've got a fairly green flag look to it. As Godney Weeb had a bad run, he would have got it through the chicane there. Lost some time to TJ, but still in a second as his teammate pits. Let's see what tires fire up flow. And I imagine, you know, almost everyone on softs here will be putting on the mediums, as fire up flow does.
Congestion up into turn 1. Fire up just in front of Santiago and actually gets the overcut on Warriors. So that'll do him favors in this next stint.
Yep.
Try to get it back up to his teammate.
Warriors on Santiago here. He goes for it right now. And Santiago doesn't put up much of a fight there. Now Warriors has got to try and stay up in DRS of fire up flow, which he will. That's important for Warriors. Of course, remember, you know, fire up flow is about 4.5, 5 seconds behind Warriors. But obviously Warriors having to change a wing, that'll slow him down quite quickly as fire up flow. TJ into the pits. Fire up flow closing in on Twisted Jack. TJ putting on the mediums, as we would expect. Rockstar also into the pits. Let's see if Rockstar is changing his wing. I caught it kind of late there. I'm not sure if he changed wing or not. I don't think he did. I don't know, did you catch that pit stop by any chance?
I did not. I'm riding on board with Got Any Weave.
Oh, fire up flow. Overtakes Twisted Jack. Twisted Jack got that chicane all wrong. Now Warriors will be attacking him. This could be the break that Fire Up Flow needs to pull out a second on Warriors. But looks like Twisted Jack's either in some trouble, but Warriors is able to make that overtake quite quickly, and I think he'll stay just inside the DRS range of Fire Up Flow. Rockstar gets past Santiago. Johnny Weave speeding in the pit lane.
Make that 4. I think he had 3 last week, another one here, and that's really going to cost him as D'Angelo goes for another spin up the rear. It looked like Got Any Weave might even get on track with the overcut in front of TJ. We'll see now. Getting out the pit lane, you kind of cut turn 1, so time kind of comes back your way.
Ooh, that's close.
Yeah. TJ did a nice job getting that undercut. But yeah, that 5 seconds going to hurt him. Not the end of the world, because you can serve it. But, well, you might definitely lose some time.
Also, good news for these two is that, well, for God and Weeb anyways, that him and TJ were opening up a pretty good gap on third place there. They had about, you can see it, I mean, there's 6 seconds back to Fire Up Flow, who's net P3 in the race. Nico, John, and Omega still have to pit. So,
here comes Warriors on Fire Up. Thinking about the move. Thinks better of it.
Yeah. Warriors obviously now gets to flex his pace a little bit, and if you're Fire Up Flow, you know, Warriors is able to run you down pretty quickly. You might, you know, could be, you know, if Warriors goes for a move, might just let him pass and just hop on the DRS train and let him carry you for a few laps. Something you can definitely do, especially when the other guy has 6 seconds of time penalties. Yeah, this is, TJ can almost relax now and just pray that there's no safety car sitting in, essentially. Because he's got essentially a 5.5 second gap on Gandhi Weave, and then it's like another huge gap back to Fire Up Flow.
Yeah, in a perfect world, yeah, he would definitely want it to stay green. He's going to have to negotiate Omega, hopefully on this straightaway. If not, maybe the next.
Again, like I said, no pressure from behind, really. So you can be a little bit patient here.
But yeah, it's a long way to go to lap 35. Yeah, still not at that halfway point.
Ooh, Omega, a little nick to the wall there. Overtake. Got any weave will follow TJ through, and probably thought about an overtake on TJ there, but you know, decided better of it. He had a huge run there. Fire Up Flow has gotten past Nico John. Now, Nico John should, you know, see if there's any team orders here. It doesn't look like there is. If I was the Williams boss, to be like, hey, go, go. Of course, now I say that. Of course, like Nico John just let him go right there. As soon as I say something.
I love that. I love the team game in league racing. It's a lot of fun when you can get with a nice teammate and work with each other. We have a lot of good teammates on the grid. The Ferraris got any Fire Up long-lasting teammates. TJ D'Angelo doing a great job, and the Williams there as well. Good teamwork.
Bookending the field. McLarens are at the moment. Right now, Ferrari would gain a little bit of points in the constructors as it stands, but it'd still be a pretty big mountain to climb for them in the final race. Lee does get the pass on TJ, but we're on board with Warriors right now. He's going to make the move on Fire Up Flow. And Fire Up Flow backs out of it. And he'll now just try to hop onto the back of Warriors there and see, well, he can just hang on, maybe have Warriors pull him along for a bit. So now we get to see what TJ has, and I imagine TJ won't have too much trouble sticking with Got Any Weeb, even if Got Any Weeb's just a tick faster at the moment.
I like that move by Got Any Weeb, though. You know, he's carrying that penalty, right? So TJ has been leading the race for most of it. This is the first time he's really in dirty air behind one of the other drivers, so put him under a little bit of pressure. Maybe challenge him a little bit. Maybe he does pick up some time penalties from track extensions. You know, that's the goal. Maybe Got Any Weeb, maybe he could get out of the DRS. TJ not using any battery, but he does have the DRS.
And TJ gets awfully close to the wall champions there. And when it rains, it pours, right?
Well, there's not many clouds out here, but for Warriors, it looks like a storm is coming through. It's Fire Up Flow. little bit of contact in the T1.
Well, yeah, it's like, I kind of missed that. I guess Fire Up Flow tried to fight back on him, and he's probably like, come on, man. He's probably looking in his rearview mirror saying, hey, Rockstar's closing in here. D'Angelo. Yeah. He really needs a safety car. He needs a safety car in the next 10 laps, so he'll get lapped. This is not the ideal race for D'Angelo.
Yeah, it's...
There's a Jack. Add him to the list.
It's tough when you're in that situation where D'Angelo is, because he can't even go for a pit stop, so he's got to stay on these softs. Oh, hit the wall. That's a big contact, and that's not once but twice in the Wall of Championships of VSC.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
When the leaders went past it, so we'll. I don't think any of these guys are going to pit.
No.
VSC is kind of the.
That's pretty much race over for D'Angelo, because even he's going to be so slow right here. He's going to have to pit, and he's going to get lapped. And once you get lapped in this game,
you're done.
You really can't get that lap back, unless you do it old school.
No takers onto the pit road except for Santiago, looks like, but I mean, he had nothing to lose, really.
The McLaren suspension, quite strong. I mean, D'Angelo, quite a few hits with the barriers, and all four wheels, they're still moving. That was a big hit to the Wall of Champions. I mean, almost head on.
Yeah, that was possibly the penalty some of these guys are looking for. Yeah, no one with 3 seconds of time penalties. Everyone who has a time penalty has multiple time penalties. Well, it's technically Twisted Jack, but he also has a speeding penalty. And D'Angelo is getting ready to retire.
Yep.
Fire Up Flow, still on Warriors. He backs out of that.
See, that time, D'Angelo, his car actually got retired in the pit lane. It actually did not go back out on track. It's like the first time I've ever saw that.
Maybe they're learning. I hope that's something they fix for F122.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Omega, add him to the list. That really hurts him because he has Ford. Well, he still has 3 seconds over Ford for looking at time penalties.
Oh,
take that 6 seconds.
Recalculating.
Yeah. So, that's not the end of the world for Omega there. Omega on for a nice run here so far, so we're about at the halfway point. He failed to score points last night in the silver race.
And I tell you what, I'm really disappointed in Warriors. I thought he would have had a lot more pace here tonight. There's something definitely not going right for him. But that setup.
It's one of those things. It's like, it's weird of him, and you know, I hate to dog on him, but like, he either like kind of does a, you know, Red Bull Vettel where he just takes off in the beginning and no one ever sees him again, or he just things kind of snowball, and you know, he usually doesn't. He usually finishes towards the bottom of the points. I think he's still on. I mean, just looking at the gaps, he's still on for a top 5. If he can just keep it together and not have, you know, 20 seconds of time penalties at the end. You know, I think that's what he's got to realize now. You know, hey, I can still get he's still on for a 5th place finish at the moment. And that's assuming, you know, maybe Rockstar picks a penalty here or there as well. You know, you never know. But he does seem to be struggling a little bit. Fire Up Flow seems to be, I'd say, slightly quicker at this point, albeit it's not. You know, add Vince to the list there is, yeah, Fire Up Flow right on cue completes the overtake. And now Warriors will just try to hang on to the back of him. TJ close to Gani Weeb. But again, these guys, they're racing, but they're not really racing at the moment. Maybe got any lead, like I said, could maybe, you know, challenge TJ, maybe trying to put a little bit of pressure on him, maybe force him into a mistake. But I think TJ's very comfortable at the moment. They have almost 10 seconds on Fire Up Flow and Warriors in that battle for third and fourth.
Yeah, TJ is in no rush to get past Scott and Weeb, but now if I'm Scott and Weeb, I might even start doing one of my, you know, slower laps, see if TJ is more convinced to get past and then try to re-overtake him.
Oh, we got some contact here. This is for P10, Vince and Twisted Jack. Both of them made a mistake. Looks like coming out of that first chicane. And I don't know if Twisted Jack has any damage or not, but there's some solid contact between the two there. I think they both got a line. Now this Warriors goes back past Fire Up Flow. Vince lights up the tires there. They're both right behind Nico John. Nico John with slightly fresher tires. As Twisted Jack goes for the pass. Vince has less time penalties than him, though. So I don't think they're in any rush. But they have Santiago right behind them. So Santiago's actually in a net P8 at the moment. As he goes for a move on Vince and gets the move done. Forward pitted, he now drops back to P9. Fresh tires. Or P11 rather. Santiago, I think, will make a quick move here on Twisted Jack as well. They might be just outside the DRS range here.
Want to take a quick moment to just thank everyone for tuning in on both the YouTube and the Twitch. This is the golden class. Tomorrow's our platinum class for the Canadian Grand Prix. Next week is finale at Coda. Any like ratings would be appreciated if you're not followed or subscribed. If you like what you see so far, definitely consider subscribing. And for more information to join TCR, it's all down in the description below. You can join our Discord. We have some TCR merch as well. Some custom jerseys and hoodies and other products, as well as the Fanatec affiliation link and Drink Alchemy codes are in the description. Help the league as well in doing so. We only got this week and next week, and that's a wrap for Season 13. Next season will be on F122 on the new cars.
Good to see a lot of new faces too. Get some cross-platform action.
Yeah, hopefully it gets implemented sooner rather than later. TJ and Godney Weave, they're playing with each other now. Into one.
Warriors, boy. So now he's in danger
TJ.
of maybe losing out to, you know, even, you know, Omega and guys, you know, further back. Because Omega's actually gaining on Rockstar right now. Only 3.2 seconds back. Of course, he does have slightly fresher tires at the moment. But again, let's take a look at the penalties here. Omega only 3 seconds versus Warriors 12. You know, I'm just saying, you know, if those guys, battling, or you know, Warriors picks up, you know, at the rate Warriors is going, he's going to pick up, you know, another couple penalties before the race is over. Which I think, you know, Omega and Rockstar might be in a good spot to overtake him. So Fire Up Flow, looking like he's having a solid race, and again, it's going to be solid points for Ferrari and the constructors. They were 31 points behind. It stands right now. They'll be getting 33. They'll be gaining 8 of those points back as it stands right now. Let's take a look. Got any weed dropped back a second from TJ.
Ooh, Twisted Jack and Nico having a nice battle here.
This could.
Gets the position, nice. And Twisted Jack really sent it into turn 1. And we got a little bit of a four-car train, which could either provide for some great racing or a wreck.
That would certainly spice things up, and would be the last thing Warriors want to see. Like I said, you know, them late race safety cars, you know, that's when the time penalties really bite you, you know. You can get away with a time penalty or two if the race goes green the whole way, because the field gets plenty spread out usually. But if you get a safety car in the last, you know, 5-6 laps, then all of a sudden, you know, instead of losing 1 or 2 spots, you're looking at losing 5 or 6.
We usually don't run this long for green flags. We usually do get a lot of safety cars, although as of late, it's been a lot of green flag running in a lot of the classes.
So Jack runs a little bit deep there. Nico John was looking underneath him.
Now we're getting to that point as Fire Up gets warnings on the DRS straight. We're getting to that point where you mentioned the medium tires might not feel too well. So it is usually a one stop. I think most of these drivers know that, but you know, come with that, maybe some mistakes. Warrens has the oldest tires at 17. He did pit first after struggling in the first stint, so we might see some more mistakes. We might see someone who might have a decent gap go for some soft tires and try to do something a little different.
Definitely, I don't really see anyone right now who would be eligible to do that.
I wonder if got any weeb would want to do that. Oh,
we
here's
have
Vince.
That's Vince. He spun out. I actually brought out a safety car last night in the silver race, so he'll be happy to not see this track again, I feel like, for a while.
Come November, I think is the next time we'll be running it.
So you're saying you already have the schedule for next season?
No, we actually don't, but Canada's usually always on there, just because
there's a lot of Canadian in the league.
Yeah, otherwise they come at us if we don't put it on there. Actually, it's funny, last night I was with Silent in the commentary booth. He says this track is meh. I said, wait for some Canadians to come at you, hey?
Hey.
Yeah, we usually always have a few of the tracks, Canada, Coda. A few drivers pitting, Omega.
That's surprising from Omega.
Santiago, who is formerly known as Senina. Same driver.
Will Omega get past Ford? Nope. Which should be in a good position to get it down the next DRS straight. Kind of surprised at that, but so Omega was closing in on Rockstar pretty quickly. It might be a challenge Rockstar, but like I said, you know, he's carrying the 3-second time penalty. Omega Ford kind of gives up the spot.
I wonder if Got Any Weeb went, if he goes into the pit lane, which I don't think he will. I think they'll stay it out, which is probably the right call. I wonder if he would bait TJ in.
No, because Got Any Weeb has the 5-second time penalty, so he'll be standing there for 5 seconds before anything happens. So I don't think there's no way he'd make up that time for.
Well, you never know. You never know what drivers are thinking.
Yeah, that's true, but
I would
it's
like to
been-
see Got Any Weeb get up to TJ and start to put some more pressure on TJ. Try to do more overtaking if possible.
Try to hassle him a little bit.
Yeah, put him in a corner. You know, make sure he fights this one out. You know, maybe you never know. Maybe he gets a penalty, which would help him.
That would certainly spice things up a bit. Warriors and Fire Up Flow continue to go back and forth. Instead of all the penalties Warriors has, Fire Up Flow is probably just out there cruising on a Sunday drive, trying not to pick up any penalties. He's in a good spot, all by himself. 11 seconds in front, 12 seconds, 13 seconds behind. On board with Omega. We've got Nico John, Twisted Jack, continuing to battle out for P6 at the moment. Omega's already caught these two, so he's already back to net P6, back basically to where he was. So I think this is the point he's trying to do. If he sets the fastest lap here, we'll see, he gets across the line and does not set the fastest lap, which is surprising. So I think that was his plan. Pick up the fastest lap and then go about your business, because he's already back essentially to the spot that he was in before he pitted. Just double check that with the penalties. Oh no, actually he still has to overtake Nico John as Twisted Jack gets that turn all wrong, allowing Nico John for an easy overtake, as well as Omega. Omega should have it lined up for an easy overtake on Nico John when they come down the straightaway towards the Wall of Champions for the next time.
Fastest lap currently Got Any Weeb with the 1:11.536. Omega a few tenths off of that, 11.878.
It's another point for Ferrari towards the constructors. Perfect pawn. I'd have to say it's meh too. Well, he did just win, so Omega gets another time penalty. And that's big for him. As we have, I think Vince just bend it.
Oh, he almost hit the leader, TJ, and TJ got really lucky there. Or maybe it was skill.
Yeah, I did not catch that. I got excited there for a second. I thought it might be a safety car, but yeah, Omega now has to pull out a 3-second gap on Nico John to get back to where he was before he pitted. Again, slightly questionable decision to pit there. Like I said, that was the risk he was running by pitting. As Nico John and Ford get scrapping, that'll help Omega's case. As Warrens and Fire Up Flow change positions again. Seems to be an every lap thing for them too. I think Nico John and them tires are starting to hurt. Speaking of hurting tires, look at the top 3, top 4 really, or I guess top 5, let me just keep going. 20 lap old tires for all those guys. So yeah. They'll be, they're all pretty much locked into their positions. I think they'll be happy when this race is over. Just based off, they're not having fun out there driving right now. Them tires are slick.
So am I going to hate it tomorrow when I get up there? 25 laps on medium tires.
We have some info in the comments. Omega had to pit because he started on mediums, which obviously makes sense. I don't think, heartbroken for Omega. I don't really think that would have made a difference, as Omega would have had to pass Rockstar and pull out a 3-second gap. But yeah, Omega with the softs now. Looks like he's going to get the 3-second gap back to Ford as well. At least the way it's looking right now. He's been able to pull out that gap pretty quickly, so should still be P6, hopefully. Don't want to jinx anything. TJ and Got Any Weeb both with about 50% battery. Ford another 3-second time penalty, so I guess it was Nico John that Omega is having to pull out the gap on, so he's already done that.
Yeah, and last lap, Got Any Weeb made the overtake in the final corner. and he had the inside line, but no warnings with TJ with the track limits, but it's pretty much an unconventional move, you know, trying to put two where two can't go,
Yeah.
and try to force a penalty.
Ooh, twisted
I
jack.
wonder.
Here, there at the end. He's almost a lap down, but stealing the fastest lap from Ferrari. Again, probably won't make any difference in the long run, but you never know. Come next week, something happens to the McLarens, and the constructors' title points could very well tighten right back up. As it stands right now, it looks like Ferrari will gain 8 points, cut the gap down to 23 points in the constructors, which, you know, certainly isn't a done deal, but they'll be feeling pretty good about themselves heading into the final round. At Coda.
The championship finale at Coda next week for Golden Class. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah, especially, I mean, well, these two here, I mean, they'll be gaining plenty of points here. I don't want to say anything, I don't set anything in stone, but, you know, live points as they're running. And TJ, the gap will go from, actually,
hold my
you know
breath
what?
in the last corner. TJ got very close to the wall of champions.
Warriors has a lot of penalties. I'm just gonna, I don't feel like doing math right now, so I'm just gonna wait till they cross the finish line before we do the. No, this is not Glenn on comms. This is Glenn's teammate, Sir Charles. I guess I sound like, do I sound like Glenn? I thought we had pretty distinct voices, but anyway. Or different voices, I should say.
You're just like a more southern Flynn.
Alright. Howdy, y'all.
Yeah, no, that's Sir Charles. He's a what are you, season 12 silver class champion. Blinn was with me last week, though. Yeah, Blinn did the main. Blinn will be main tomorrow with Mr. Sensation. Should be a great stream tomorrow.
Hopefully me and Blinn can wrap up the silver constructors next week. We only have a 9-point gap to work with, which... Oh boy, I gotta practice Coda. But fortunately, it's one of Blinn's stronger tracks, so... as strong as Tebow's been, as TJ goes for an overtake on Got Any Weeb. Got Any Weeb doesn't put up much of a fight. Again, both of these guys are probably just, you know, very worn tires. They'll race each other, but they ain't going to do anything too crazy, and I think that's exactly what Fire Up Flow is doing as well. He's really backing it down right now. I will say, caution free, these guys probably aren't expecting it, weren't expecting it. I'm seeing Warriors and Fire Up Flow really dropping back. Could fuel be an issue here for these guys?
Not as bad as me in last week, but no, it looks all right. No lights are blinking. I could just be hitting that stage. Although I'll tell you what, Fire Flow, he could stop for a cup of coffee and he'll still get P3 with the amount of penalties Warriors got.
Yeah, Rockstar might be in line for P4 here, which I think he will be.
But a great race by TJ, really controlled.
Yeah, just did what he had to do. TJ's going to come across the line here to win the Canadian Grand Prix. Got Any Weeb finishes second quite comfortably, and they'll make up a lot of ground on Warriors in the point standings. Warriors will cross the line here, but Fire Up Flow will be the one getting the podium as they make their way through the chicane for the final time. As Warriors crashes across the line. Now Omega, only 3 seconds worth of time penalties for Omega, or actually 6. That might cost them P5 here. As Warriors has a lot of time penalties. Let's see what if Warriors drops back any more. Does not, and that 3-second time penalty did not make any difference in the end. So Warriors 4 seconds behind Rockstar. You see his crash car there. Nico John P7, Ford P8. Santiago P9. Twisted Jack will get 2 points for Haas. So he gets to 1 point for 10th and the fastest lap point, I do believe, unless someone got it in the last couple laps and I didn't see. And that's a wrap for the round 13 of the Golden Class. TJ, well, everything went right for him today. He had a easy victory in the end, although I'm sure there were moments in the race where it wasn't so easy. Especially on the end of those hard tires. But it's a good rebound race after a couple rough weeks for TJ, and he'll be right back into the championship contention.
Yeah, not the most exciting race, but it is a table setter for next week, which is going to be a lot of fun. Very stressful for those involved.
So it will be TJ, who will be 5 points behind Warriors. And Got Any Weeb will be 17 points behind Warriors. I believe that math's not adding up.
Yeah, I'm doing them right now, actually. I get them in 1 second. I should have them.
Yeah. Well, TJ's is easy. But yeah, TJ's going to be right on Warriors' heels, 5 points, and I think, if my math's correct, Gunny Weeb will be 17 back, so he'll need a little bit of help. But still, mathematical chance. That's all you can ask for sometimes, and but this does eliminate D'Angelo from championship contention today. You double check the math for me?
Yes, I am getting them here. Let's see what it will be looking like. Never done the points so quickly in my life. I am done for the week.
Well, no, it's 5 points between TJ and the other guys. I'm pretty sure it's 17 for Ferrari. Are you going to? Well, I'll go back to the showroom here and go ahead and invite the podium finishers in for our interviews today.
I am pretty happy though. I did get 2 of my 3 picks correct. Got Any Weeb and Fire Flow. The Ferrari's pretty much penalty free, but Got Any Weeb, he's got to figure out that pit lane, because he really, I mean, would have had a real great shot at getting a win here, putting himself back in the championship. But the championship follows like this heading into next week. Warriors with 155. TJ 5 points back in the McLaren with 150. And let's see if Got Any Weeb still has a shot. He's got a 17-point deficit, 138 to 155. Still in it.
He's gonna need some help, but
yeah, he's gonna need a little bit of help. But today did eliminate D'Angelo. And as far as constructors, we have McLaren at 263 to Ferrari's 240. So Ferrari's gonna have to pull something out of the bag next week. But yeah, the table is set between Warriors, TJ, and the Hail Mary for Got Any Weeb come finale.
Yeah, definitely. Alright. We got everybody. I know we have Fire Up Flow and TJ in here. Got Any Weeb in here? Awesome. We'll go ahead and start. We'll start with P3, Fire Up Flow. You start a little bit further back than those guys. The gap kind of formed pretty easily between you and the top two, and then from there on, it was pretty much just a battle with you and Warriors. But it's kind of the story of the race. Really, it was a battle, but it wasn't really a battle because Warriors had all them time penalties. So what were you thinking with that battle, and were you just kind of having fun with it? And what were you thinking there towards the end, and how were the tires feeling at the end?
Tires felt fine the whole time. Early on in the second stint, I was actually trying to pass him, and there was this one on the first turn. I not really dived, but we went through side by side. We bumped, and then and he had 9. I think he had at that point 6 seconds, and I was like, oh gosh, I should probably be careful. He still has 6 seconds penalties, and then within like 2 or 3 more laps, he had 12 and ended up at 15. And with 15 laps left, I stopped. I mean, honestly, just stopped trying. We had too much of a gap for Rockstar, I think was one behind us, and yeah, it was just like I mean, I passed him like a couple times just because I had the ERS and DRS. But if he wanted to pass me, I just let him go because I wasn't gonna fight it. Yeah, just hoping for a safety car so we could get back closer to the front 2 guys. But otherwise, it was the most boring podium I've ever got.
Yeah, well, sometimes a boring podium's a good podium.
Way. Yeah, it's like boring golf is good golf. Same thing.
Yeah, and you know, pretty sure y'all basically playing leapfrog there for like 5 or 6 straight laps.
Yeah.
Seafreeze, any questions for Fire Up Flow?
Yeah, well, good race, good podium, penalty free. I had you for P3, so thanks for making my dreams come true. We did see you were working with Warriors a little bit, leapfrogging. You lead 1 lap, he leads 1 lap, but for quite a few of them, he like missed. I was riding on board with you throughout the race. Warriors kept missing turn 1 and 2. Did you see that? Did you kind of like take note of that? Like, oh, he keeps missing his apexes, but I got my own race to do, or did that not even come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it, and there was one time he went really deep, and I kind of went for a pass, but again, the penalties were too much to where like I wasn't gonna go side by side into turn 3. So
you just really backed off then.
Yeah, I never backed off. It was just like if he wants it, he can. I'm not gonna do anything crazy to get on track in the lead. So, but yeah.
Awesome.
Try
to
play
stuff.
smart.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on your podium. Like I said, take it any way you can get it. Like I said, you had a very good, clean race. Moving on to Got Any Weeb, a double podium for Ferrari. And Got Any Weeb, you did everything right, but you gotta figure out the pit road. You certainly had the pace, it looked like, but it's the same thing with you. You know, it's kind of a battle with you and TJ without really being a battle. So were you just kind of chilling there most of the time? No, or were you maybe trying to hassle TJ into a mistake, maybe get him a couple penalties as well? What was your mentality on that last run? Awesome, man. What will be your approach going into the finale? 17 points back. You're still in it, but you admittedly probably going to need a little bit of help. How do you feel about Coda, and how do you rate your chances going into the finale? Yeah, well, both you and Fire Up still in it for the constructors as well. But you're in kind of the nothing to lose situation in both the drivers and the constructors championship. So look forward to watching next week and seeing what you can throw at them. But yeah, good race today. Seafreeze, any questions?
Yeah, I got one. Well, congratulations, Got Any Weeb on P2. I did pick you for P2, so thank you for making my dreams come true. Ferrari's coming in clutch. Yeah, 2 for 2. I went 2 for 3. I didn't get the winner right, unfortunately. But how were the tires at the end of it? Mid 20, around 25 laps on the mediums. Were you really struggling, or able to get to the end all right? Awesome. Well, congrats and good luck next week. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Well, got any wee good race today? Well, but now we'll move on to your winner, TJ. This is his 4th win, I believe, on the season, and unlike Seafreeze, I had faith in you. You were my pick to win today. Got it done. It ended up being seemingly a pretty straightforward win for you in the end, or about as straightforward as a win can be. But I'm sure there were moments in the race where it was a bit hectic. Just talk us through your race, and what was your mentality there coming down the stretch, knowing that you pretty much just had to keep it on track and you had it in the bag.
Thank you for believing in me, Charles. You know, McLaren stick with each other. They don't care what Seafreeze thinks. He's a Ferrari. So
yeah, no, no bias in the commentary booth.
Yeah, but yeah, the race was kind of straightforward, like you said. My mentality coming to the race was, do not be Australia again, because I wasn't ready to be heartbroken for the 2nd time running. So I came in. I've been putting a lot. I think I put in some practice 2 days before, and I was feeling shaky. But today I put everything together. Came on track, you know, got pole, and just kept it clean from there. I got a warning at the start, but after that I didn't get any warning, and I just kept worrying. So it was like sticking behind me, and I was trying to manage my tires through the first stint so I can like be able to extend, or you know, be able to pull out a gap before I pit. But yeah, I kept on seeing them get penalties upon penalties. I was like, oh. And then Guy in the Weed came into the picture, so I was like, oh shit, it's another person. I was like just trying to keep it on track, and then when we went into the pit, I made sure I got the pit right, because it was so sketchy. If you're going too high, you get a 5-second penalty, and unfortunately for Guy in the Weed, he got one. So that at that point, I knew it was either keep it on track, don't get no penalties, and stay within 5 seconds, or try to stay ahead of him. But then he was quick, so we had a couple of battles which are actually clean and fun, like you said. We give each other enough room, and you know, going back and forth. Like I think there was a couple of laps where we kept the position like constant, and then another lap I overtake him, and then he overtakes me back. Yeah, we kept it clean, and at that point, I knew what all I had to do was just keep it clean, no penalties, and stay within 5 seconds, and whatever comes next, comes next. So I guess that got me the win today.
Alright, awesome. Now, I'll give you kind of the same question I gave Got Any Weeb. How do you feel going into the finale? You're in a really good spot. You're only 5 points behind Warriors right there. You have to attack in the driver's standings, but you also have to defend a little bit in the Constructors' Championship. What's your mentality going into COTA with both championships on the line?
I mean, it's everything at stake right now, so I'm going to give it 120% next week.
Awesome.
Plan on taking both Constructors and Drivers' Championship, so hopefully that happens.
Yes, sir. Well, it'll be exciting to watch. Seafreeze, any questions for TJ?
Yes, I do. Well, congratulations on P1. I did not predict you for P1, so thank you for ruining my dreams. But congrats on the win nonetheless. What was your mindset coming into this race? You were 28 points behind. Were you going for the win? Were you looking to see what Warriors were doing? What were you doing coming into this race?
I mean, it was a mixture of both, because actually I feel bad for doing it, but I was praying Warriors crashed. Like, I was like, I mean, it's a racist mindset, but I didn't really mean it, but I was like hoping I was able to close up the gap more than what it was coming into this race. Because if he finish second, and the next race, even if I win, he's gonna win the championship. So I was hoping to get a lot of points on him today. So you know, it will be like straight on the next for the final round. So I'm glad that happened, and unfortunately for him, he had a lot of I think a couple of mistakes, but it is what it is.
And I have a couple more follow-ups. You saw Warriors get a bunch of penalties early on in the race. Did that change your mindset going in? It maybe allowed you to relax a little bit, seeing as though he ranked up a lot of penalties and he was pretty much unable to compete with you on track as long as you were able to get to the end?
I mean, I believe I was quicker than him, regardless if he had penalties or not, because during the couple of laps he was behind me, I had relatively high ERS, and I believe he was burning through his ERS because the rate he was close enough to me down the straights. Then I could infer that he was burning through the ERS that he had, so I wasn't really worried about him behind me even when he got the penalty or prior to him getting penalties.
And I have one final question. Going into next week, you have to think, but you need to. There's no way you can't think of Warriors when you're going into that race, because that's the guy you got to beat. So do you do anything different? Do you do extra practice coming in? Are you even thinking about Warriors? I feel like it'd be hard not to. What's that mentality?
Yeah, you're always thinking about your rivals, because it could go either way. I could DNF next week, and you could also DNF next week. But the best thing to do is just focus on yourself, because when you worry too much about other people, you kind of get into that mentality of like you're holding yourself back because you're not concentrating on what you're supposed to be doing. So I am going to be worried about him, but I'm not going to let it get to the point where it's hindering my performance for the next for the race. And I am going to be putting a couple of practice in, but not that much. It's finals week, so I gotta balance both of them out. So we'll see how it goes. But I'll get in a couple of practice in, because this is my one and only chance to win for the season. So it's all hands on deck, full gas, no holding back.
Absolutely. Well, good luck next week, and yeah, go get them.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for your commentary.
As always.
Alrighty, well, that'll be a wrap on our coverage tonight. Congrats to our podium finishers, Far Up Flow, Godney Weeb, and TJ, your winner tonight. It's going to be an exciting round finale next week at COTA. Same time next week, next Wednesday at 8:45 on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you for everyone who watched. Join us for the Platinum class tomorrow night, same time, 8:45. And of course, next week, all three classes will be finishing up. Tuesday, Silver class. Wednesday, as mentioned, with the Golden class. And Thursday, with the Platinum class. Again, all at 8:45 Eastern Time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Please tune in tomorrow. I guess see you all tomorrow.